All right.
Live from Evanston, Deputy Chief Paul Pollock.
All right. So we've been using Mobiletouch for the last year now. I got to say, you guys everyone's been doing great with it. I know there were a few hurdles at the beginning, putting things in, taking things out, but it's going pretty well. We had some bumps with the state exports, not having the right information. None of that was any of your fault. That was getting it right on the coordinator's end and the back end. But right now, everything it seems to be going pretty well. Just want to go over a few things before we get into the refresher. The reason we wanted to do a refresher because we are noticing some things that seems folks are having, either they just don't know how to do it, so they don't do it, or just they're not comfortable with it, so they don't do it. So we're going to try to get everyone comfortable with all the features that it has. First thing is, I'm going to tell every crew this, every shift this. The iPads, they're our friend. Take care of them. You saw my email. I know things happen, not a big deal, but do the best you can to take care of them. Everything that I'm trying to do, I'm trying to get it to go through the iPad. Eventually, and we just had a data meeting and it's looking pretty good. Hopefully we'll be getting rid of these MCTs and the rigs, and everything's going to come through your iPad. Community events, the calls, Mobiletouch, doing your inspections on IRL. It's going to be an officer's friend. So let's try to take care of them. Foreign fire tax, spend $12,000 on them, so just do your best to take care of them. That's all I'm going to talk about on that. Here's the one you're probably not going to like. Anytime you go on a call where there's over 3 people get entered in the computer or whatever, the rest go on a piece of paper. No more. Everyone's going into the computer. There's going to be a report or something on everyone in Mobiletouch. And what that means is, well, let me give you the reason why. So this year alone, I've had 5 requests for reports. All 5 of those requests were people that were not in the system. So I go back and I look at those sheets of paper to find their names. And they all tell me that, well, they did a set of vitals. I went to my doctor and I just wanted to get the report so I could, oh, okay. So normally, the way I look at it, when they're on a report or on one of those written pieces of paper, that tells me that there was nothing done on that patient. That's how we do things. They tell me that they had vitals, so we smooth it out. It's fine. Everything is good. But the papers that are coming in, they're coming in with 2-word narratives, no times, crumpled up. It's just not professional. So everything's going to go into the computer. You can pull up a name, and it's not hard to do. I'm going to show you. I'm going to review how to add patients to an incident number. It's not that big of a deal, especially if it's a no treatment, no transport. Once these classes are over, I'll write a general order on it and just revise the one that's out there, and that'll be it. Blood pressure cuffs. The other day we had one of the automatic blood pressure cuffs on the monitor. One went out on ambulance 21. Just keep the blood pressure cuffs in the pockets that they go in, okay? Don't fold them up, don't put them under here. Don't wrap them up on the handle and use them as a handle. They're $200 a piece. I know $200 isn't anything in the grand scheme of things, but over time, it's just no reason to do that. So just put the cuffs where they belong. If the pouches are bad, write them up. The coordinator's been pretty good about getting these things pretty quickly. So let's just take care of the equipment. Narratives. Make sure we do our due diligence on narratives. This is another thing that always happens when I get a phone call from the hospital regarding a call. I pull up the call, and it's usually a call that has a 1-sentence narrative. And then I have to justify what we did and all the good things that we do out there and blah, blah, blah. And it always ends up okay, but do your due diligence on the narratives, okay? I know that after the 15th call, bullshit call, it's easy to just blah, 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 whatever. Just do your due diligence, okay? Last thing is telemetry calls. When you call the hospital, any hospital, St. Francis, Skokie, or Evanston, if they do not answer the telemetry radio, let your officer know. Officers, let your battalion chiefs know. That's got to get to me so I can get to Sarah. We had this incident the other day. We had a call. They went from 500 to Asbury. They didn't answer. We show up in the back of the ER at St. Francis. It ended up being a stroke. They get mad because we didn't call a stroke alert. but yet they're not answering their phone. So Sarah is committed to making sure that everyone's answering the phone. They're supposed to be there for us for reference when we need them. So if they're not answering the phone, please let me know so I can let Sarah know. Everyone got all that good stuff? We'll get into this. And so quick couple things here. I shouldn't take too much of your time. Most everyone has been using this program. Some have not. Drivers, which I get, this is your refresher. This could help you out doing calls, transferring calls, and different things like this. So the first thing that I need to happen at the beginning of a day is you have to build your crew. You have to build your crew every day, okay? Don't let it go. If you're on a truck that day, I know sometimes it's something that you're not thinking about. You should log in your crew every day, because if it goes 3 days without logging in, it's not catching all the different configurations. It's not catching the different refreshments of the program. So log in every day. When you log in, that's going to consist of your branch. This is very important for data. The branches are what stations you're coming out of. A lot of the reports that I see don't have that. Please, it's very important to put the branch, your shift, the vehicle, and what EKG device you're using. So if you're engine 2, you're going to use engine 2's device. I'm going to get into how to pull information from your monitor to your report. But it has to have the EKG device in there before it can do anything. And then you're going to put your crew's name. Okay? This is an important thing to do at the beginning of every shift. Once you do this, the next thing that I want you to do is the question mark right here. You're going to hit that, and you're going to refresh reference tables, and then you're going to update configurations. You're going to do this one and that one. Okay? And like I said just a minute ago, this updates your program to make sure that everything is updated, ready to go. This will also help you if you go on a run. So here are your runs. You go on a run, and you go to grab your iPad, and the call isn't there, and you're like, we were just toned out, what the heck? If you just go back to the question mark, hit refresh reference tables again, it should pull it up. Because it may have just got caught in the digital world of whatever, and it's not there. So that should pull it up if it wasn't there to begin with. Okay? Our calls. Most calls are going to come in from CAD. You know that your call is coming in from CAD if this is blue and all your information is your times and your address are there. If you're starting a new report, that's going to be black. Okay, that means it's not getting any information from CAD. What happens is if we start new reports without using the information from CAD, when the coordinators go to look at your reports, there's a documentation stating needs EPCR, or CAD needs EPCR, and then there's this other one that's just out there that it's easy enough for them to merge, but most of the time just pull your records from the CAD, if that makes sense. If you are starting a new report without using CAD, our numbering system is 1900, and then your 4-digit number. Once we hit 10,000 calls, it's 190, then the 5-digit number. So it's 1900, your 4-digit number, just like that. We don't use dashes, we don't use hashtags, we don't use X's. That's the number, and it's very important when coordinators go back in the report system and try to pull up different types of calls. That's how we number it. Moving forward. 22 is the route post 11. Moving forward, within the next, hopefully by next year, we are going to be using Health EMS for our fire incidents as well, and getting rid of Firehouse. So everything will be housed in one program, Health EMS, fires and EMS, and that number is going to be consistent, 1900, and then the run number. I went over if you go on a scene and you're not showing the run, it doesn't show the run in your dashboard, just hit refresh reference tables. It should pull it back up. Here's an issue that we're seeing a little bit. Protocols, okay? Couple things with protocols. The other, I don't want us using other anymore. I have like over 600 others when I run a report on the calls. Every one of our SOPs are listed. If it's something that seems like, oh my God, this is an other, use it as a routine medical care or a routine trauma care. Don't use other. I don't know what other means, okay? That good? When you do use a protocol, let's just use, let's use COPD. When we built this out, coordinators, myself, Gary Hicks, we tried to make it as easy as possible. So if you click the protocol, COPD, they have put the medications that could possibly be used and the different things that you're possibly going to do on the call. So instead of hitting treatment and searching for everything, it's already right there, okay? They tried to build an SOP for you so it's as easy as possible to do. So if I was to hit mask, anytime you do a treatment, it requires an authorization and an authorization type. So, and that's anything. So, mask, yes, that was authorized. And then if you scroll down right here, authorization type, that has to be done. I know it's not required with the red exclamation point. We're working on that. I don't know why it's a big deal. They still haven't done it for us yet. But that's what the state kicks back. If we don't have an authorization type, we get these things back all the time.
Can we auto-populate that?
What's that?
Can you guys auto-populate it, or it's not?
No, they want you, no, because that's what, it would be that all the time. If
Right.
I
Well, that's what
auto-populated
it
it
is.
online, it would be online every time.
Well, you would just do it to protocol.
Then it would be protocol every time.
Right, and if I got told something online, I would know I'd have to go back and fix it. But that's very rare.
I'm just telling you from the reports I read, if anything's auto-populated, that's the way it is on every report. I'm just telling you. That's just how it goes.
So we're gonna mark up.
We have to mark it, okay? So that's a big deal. So the authorization type, if you're using a cardiac monitor and you're doing a set of vitals, right down here, it says interpretation, rhythm, blah, blah, blah. A lot of people they use the monitor here, okay? It's not counting it. So if you're on an ALS call and you used your monitor, and a lot of times it's fine, I know where to go, but it kicks it back, the state will kick it back if it sees that a monitor is used, but it's not in. So anytime you use a monitor, you need to mark it as a treatment. Don't put it here. If you put it here, that's fine, but just make sure you mark it as a treatment, and that's where you would do the treatment, and then your cardiac monitor. 12 liter, 4 liter, whatever you use, and that's when you give it all the authorizations. Yes, it was authorized by protocol. Okay, so cardiac monitors need to be a treatment. Okay. When you're doing vital signs, you go to the psych, he does not want you to touch him. It's a transport, he does not want you to touch him. He doesn't want you to take any vitals. If you're holding your iPad straight up and down like this, and I was to hit systolic blood pressure, it just gives me the keyboard at the bottom. If you were to turn it sideways, it'll give you the keypad on the left, and then at the top left it'll say not taken. If you click not taken, and the person refused, that will satisfy the systolic, what it's asking you in the systolic space. It's not going to give you the error. Now, Kevin Dwyer and Grish brought up a point that they've done this before. They've tried to submit it, and it does come, it kicks it back. I have not seen that, and that's why that's there. So I've asked them if that happens to them, and I'm asking you if that happens to you, where you select not taken, and you put refuse, you go to send it, and it kicks it back and says it needs a vital sign. Write that down and send it to your coordinator so we can fix it, because it shouldn't do that. That's the reason that's there. Okay, when it comes to, should have talked about this at the beginning. When it comes to the patient, One of the selling points of this program was being able to recognize repeat patients, right? Our program has not been doing that for a couple of reasons. We haven't been asking for the right information. So it gives us, we'll put the name in, an address, a date of birth. It needs like one more thing to readily recognize that patient. So we're asking you to ask for the social security number. There hasn't been a problem yet. There's a bunch of people already doing that. You don't have to ask in front of a ton of people. You don't have to ask at a scene when you're in the back of the ambulance with that person, asking for their driver's license number. Give me another number to make this easier for you. Most people have no problem giving it, especially when they're giving it to a firehouse or to a firefighter. When you ask for this, you can even show them. If you were to put a social security number in, it X's everything out once you put all 9 numbers, or 8 numbers. It's not a big deal. This just makes it easier for you guys when you're out on these calls and you get the repeat patients. As you're typing the patient's name, it'll go blue. Right there, it says view patient matches. You click that, and you can grab the patient. It'll pull in all the person's medical history. It'll pull in all the person's medications, and even the last hospital you went to with that patient. So social security number, driver's license, name, birthday, these are all things that really tie that patient in. Okay, does everyone know how to transfer a report from one iPad to the next iPad? It's not a big deal, it doesn't happen a lot, but it could be super, super helpful if you're an ambulance coming from station 2 and going to a press home. If engine 5 gets half of a report done, they can send that right to you, and we're working together as a team here. If both ambulances are up at Evanston Hospital, they go down to Howard Street, that rig can have most of that report done. So I'm going to kind of go through this real quick. It's not a hard thing to do, but you just have to know the process. So when you're first starting your call, there's a few things that your call has to have. So we're going to do this as treat transport. Okay, the first thing it has to have is the date, the call number. See how I have 190041s? It has to have the unit, so it's ambulance 21, and then whatever your assist company is. And this, I've been wanting this anyway. I think we're all doing a pretty good job of it. But if your assist company, did anyone bring their iPad in? No one? Okay. So truck 3? So I would say truck 3 was our assist company. Okay. So what I would do is I'd have half of this report done. I would go up to this part right here, the three lines on the top right. I'm going to click that. I'm going to hit share PCR. Do you want to send it to truck 23? I'm not going to do it now because it's going to get locked out. But I would say yes, send and close. What truck 23 is going to do is they're going to open up their iPad. They're going to start a new PCR from that right there. Okay? They're going to start a new ePCR. They're going to put the date in and then the call number. Say, what's the call number? 1900-111. They do that. Then they hit this right here. And then they hit receive shared PCR. And everything that was put in to the report will go right to that iPad. After the report is done, your life just got a little bit easier. So try to utilize what's out there. It's just a matter of a couple things. Practice with it, whatever you need to do. But it is pretty handy, and we're all then working together here.
Make sure you send it to the right rig though, because we did that where somehow someone accidentally sent it to the wrong one, and then that rig, who wasn't even on the call, we had to call them to send it back. So just keep in mind that you can't resend it accidentally to another rig. It only lets you send it. I think it only lets you send it to one rig, or one assist company.
It's the one who's listed on call.
Yeah. So
You can't call it back, you can't, there's no redos.
right. Well, what I'm saying is that you can't like send it out more than to one assist company. So when we were on the call, we sent it. I think we sent it to the wrong ambulance by mistake or whatever. We clicked the wrong one. So we actually had to call the station and be like, hey, can you open up your thing and then send it to A2? And they're like, really? And we're like, yeah, come on. So they went and did it, So we couldn't,
Really?
What were they like?
I made this up.
What were they like?
who was they?
They.
No, they, next.
You know them.
Them,
But
they.
anyways, I'm just saying, you can only send it once. If you mess up, go back.
Okay.
Be done, screw.
Go back to decision two.
Yeah, terrible. Go deal.
So does everyone kind of have a little bit of a concept on how that works? If you don't, there's some, I think you're pretty good at it, right? You've done it a lot. All right, so the next thing I want to do is kind of go over the monitor here. This one, we don't have an ambulance here, so all the ambulances came to the first one. So it's going to be a little bit hard to show you, but I'm going to go through this, how it works. So on every monitor has its own serial number and its own identification. There's only 3 modems. There's a modem on each ambulance. You can only send the information from the monitor with a modem, okay? Once, so let's say, I don't know, this engine 22. You're running a code with this monitor, and you want all the information downloaded in the report. Just ask for whatever ambulance is on scene to bring their modem in. It's not specific to the modem, it's specific to the monitor. So you plug the modem in the back. The modem gets plugged in right here in this gray, not the green, but the gray spot, okay? And then when you turn your monitor on, it would already be running. It's as easy as hitting transmit. Let it warm up here for a second. It's as easy as hitting transmit. It's already set to go to Health EMS. It's already highlighted as send. You're gonna send it. It's gonna give you this thing, I have nothing on it, so I don't know what it's gonna do, but it'll transmit, it'll give you a percentage of it being done, and it'll say sent. So once it's sent to the cloud, then you can retrieve it in your report by hitting this little guy right here. Okay? I can't do it because I don't have a modem, I apologize. But if I was to hit that modem, it would say right here, do you want to receive a report from engine 22? And you can. Now, the next question is, we ran a code, we went and got our shit, and we turned the monitor off. How do we get that data? You can get the data from these last classes that we've done. I'm going to create a laminated cheat sheet for each monitor. It's not hard. I'm going to go through it right now. So we turn the monitor off. So you come back to it, hook your modem up. And you're going to go, there's a button over here called options. You're going to click options. I'm going to have this all written down, but I just want to go through it. So you're going to click options. You're going to scroll this over to archives. You're going to hit archives. Scroll this over to yes, yes, and then it's going to say send data, and then all patients. And the most recent call will be at the very top of the monitor. So then you can select that most recent call and hit the home button, and it'll pull that call up. And then you can send that as well. Okay. Alex brought up a good point. He said every time you turn the monitor on and off, it'll register that. So just look at the time of the call, and then because right here it lists the date and the time of the call. So you would just select that. So there is a way to do it. I'll put a cheat sheet on the monitor, on all the monitors. I'll build one and it can go out there. But there is a way to pull up archive data. Let's see. What else do I have?
Is there a newer version of those now?
Of what?
15s?
Yeah, so there might be. I'm working with Chief Scott. He's putting in for we're building our budget. We have to get our budget, doing the workshop thing for our budget. So we're putting in for 3 monitors, and we also put in a grant for 3 monitors. We have to start getting on top of this. Coordinators have been on it pretty good. They know that we have to start recycling these, because if we do all these at one time, it's going to be like $280,000. So we got to do them once or 2 at a time, right? $32,000 a piece. So we're working on it. The last thing I have is faxing. Go to do your report. You have to send the fax before you submit it to the cloud. I know a lot of times the faxing takes a while. I get it, but I can't help that. So you finish your report, send fax. Do not close the iPad. What I mean by that is don't swipe it up, don't close it out, don't put this cover over it because that automatically kind of puts it to sleep. We're finding that that's usually the problem. So you start the faxing process, you close it out, it cuts the connection. Just leave it open, let it do its thing. Yes, I know sometimes it takes all the way from Evanston Hospital to Station 2 before it sends it, but you'll get a message that it's sending, and then it'll say sent, right? Make sure it's sent. We're finding like a lot of calls that aren't making it to the ER. They're getting the reports 2 to 7 days later. Per their policy, they want a report prior to us leaving. They know that we're busy, so they're good with just as long as it's to them by the end of the shift. So please, let's make sure that we get our faxes sent through. Do you guys have anything for me? Any questions? No? That's all I have.
Do you really think getting social security numbers is a good idea?
Yeah,
Right.
it's not gonna hurt anything. What's that?
Nobody gets social security, I mean, anyone.
If they say no, if they say no, they say no. I mean,
You don't think you're opening yourself up to someone that does have their identity stolen or something like, well, I gave it to the fireman.
I don't know, people ask for it all the time now, I don't think it's.
Yeah, people
Did you say driver's
people
license
randomly
is
call
okay
me on the
too?
phone all the time asking for it.
You said driver's license?
you can get a driver's license as well. If you're not comfortable with the Social Security, ask for a driver's license.
Yeah, if they don't want to give it to you, you can just say, can I have your driver's license? That'll help.
Yeah, if you have a driver's license, you can start getting all your information from that. Most of it will be in there, but
You're saying the driver's license number instead of.
yeah, the driver's license number. Yep. If you want to do that, you can do that as well. There's a spot in the report for driver's license number. I don't feel we're opening ourselves up to anything. It's a pretty secure document. Even when I print this off, it won't even let me get to that. Once you put it in, I can't even see it. So I don't think we're opening ourselves up to anything. But do it, I mean, don't do it on an accident scene with 6 people. When they're in the back of the ambulance and you're transporting them, it's just you and that person. See if they give it to you. If they give it to you, great. If they don't, it's okay.
That's this question, because I won't be doing it, but once that number's in there, do you need that number the second time to refresh their, so if you get them again and you get Joe Smith, and you've entered Joe Smith with a social security number, it'll auto-populate with Joe Smith the second time?
Yeah,
again?
once you start typing in Joe,
Uh-huh.
if that, and then a comma, and then an S for Smith, that thing should highlight blue, and it'll say patient matches, and if you click on that, and one of those.
Once you've asked the first time, you don't have to ask
That's
the second
it.
time, it's already in there, you
That's
can
it.
just match. Oh, nice.
Yep, that's it.
You're gonna show us how to add multiple patients to.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I
Teach you that.
You forgot to assign us homework.
Especially the people who know.
I'll make it quick here. Okay, so I'm pulling up ambulance 21s just to kind of show you. See how it shows 1830 Ridge in progress? See the green 1830 Ridge in progress? That means someone's doing a report right now. You get towed out to a car accident with multiple patients. Let's say 6 patients, right? That's the incident number. If it was ambulance 21, engine 21, the EPCR is going to be sent to both of those vehicles, engine 21 and ambulance 21. So that run will show up on engine 21's iPad and ambulance 21's iPad. There's 6 patients. This is already started. Engine 21 is going to take a patient. All they have to do is touch it, even though it says in progress. All they have to do is touch it. It's going to say this is in progress. Start another EPCR. See where it says start another EPCR? You click on that, and you will start another patient care report on that call number, 1900-4384. And you can hit that as many times as you have to, and it'll attach every patient to that incident.
But you'll write the whole report.
Yeah, you gotta write, you have to click the no, or no treatment, no transport.
Yeah, so it would start a brand new one if it was a no treatment, no transport.
There's
You
no-
click that, and then there's like 5 things you have to put.
Yeah.
That's it.
Populate the numbers?
What's that?
Does it populate the numbers?
If you hit that, it'll populate all the times and everything. Yep,
You're just gonna need signatures and all that, so, yeah.
yep.
That's a couple minutes away.
I know it's a couple more minutes I'm asking of you, but it's gonna make life easier when people come and looking for reports and I can just do the search bar and pull up their name and say, yep, that's what we did, here you go, here you go.
What if we have like a bus?
That's come up every single time. It's gonna take a little bit.
What?
Yeah, you want.
Why
You have
do
a
what
bus
if
of
there's-
30 people, right? So, go ahead,
Is this only for people you're taking vitals on?
everyone.
Anybody? Like in the accident, they don't even want to be.
Okay, so,
It's the new white sheet, is what he's saying, correct?
okay,
Yeah.
So can we
There you go.
auto-populate a few more things now?
what's that?
Can we auto-populate it, like ground transport?
We can't. We've tried. We've already tried to do that. It doesn't, EPCR programs are very hesitant of making anything auto-populate because it is proven that that will be on every report. I know that you would change it. I get it.
No, I'm not saying that I would change it, I just don't see that any time that I would tell these people that I took someone in a helicopter to Evanston Hospital.
I'm with you. I'm with you. They want you to go through the report and they want you to.
Who's they?
So, the state, the companies that build the platforms, they want you to go through the report and do the report. So it's accurate. So in case we miss on, it's not just auto-populated.
Let's just,
Well, let me go back to the bus. So Kev, so say it's a bus with a bunch of kids, right? You're gonna get the bus driver, do a signature, and there's a part on this, there's a space, 2 places in the report where, how many patients on scene? 32. Are you transporting, so you're doing a report for one that you're transporting, right? The rest of them are signatures or whatever they are. If they're just minors, in the signature spot, there's the can't obtain a signature due to minor, right? You can go through that whole thing, right?
Mhm.
In the narrative, you can, if this patient was involved in a minor bus accident, for reporting only, and you can copy and paste that narrative into and all the other ones. It's gonna take a little bit of time, it is, but that's just how I want it, I want them all in there.
Would you say 5 minutes of report?
I don't even think it would take that.
I don't know, I haven't done it. You guys have done it.
To do a person, it would be like 2 or 3 minutes. For sure, but
So
But you
3
can have
minutes would.
multiple iPads doing it. If
You can
the-
have
yeah.
4 iPads on scene. If the
You
chief,
get a bus,
if you know you have a bus with 32 people, the chief can call another company there, have dispatch send it to that other iPad. You could have 4 iPads working on that same thing.
Okay, that's what I was saying, because 30 minutes times 3, it's an hour and a half.
If it's like 30 kids who are really injured, but we have to sign them off for the purpose of there being minors and they're on a school bus. But that one, like say the principal shows up or a person of authority can sign for them, do they have to get each kid's name or is it just like?
So they get each kid's name, they do the no treatment, no transport, unable to obtain signature in the narrative, signature obtained by principal. I'm gonna, on anything like that, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna be notified of. I can print all those off, put them in one folder and take them right to Sarah. Here's what it is, this is the person that took responsibility, here are all the reports.
So get the principal on one
One
report somewhere.
report.
Right.
Signature
Principal signed
obtained
off for all.
via blah, blah, blah.
Yep,
Okay.
and I'll put that together as a package and I'll deliver it right to Sarah and I'm sure we'll be fine.
Wait, say that again?
That narrative.
One report?
Signature.
No.
on
One
signature from the,
Authorizing the release of 30 kids.
yep.
Yeah, you have to do 30 reports, but the
With
signature only
those.
has to be on one of them.
Gotcha.
Just let's be
the
clear.
report was not clear without your
Let's be
signature,
clear.
so-
If you're gonna do vitals on a patient, because you, like, you know what, you don't look right, I'm just gonna do, that's an EMS report. That's either a treated released AMA, right? That's gonna require a little bit more than a person who's like, I don't need anything, I'm fine. That's a no treatment, no transport. I still want those people in there as well. If you feel something's not looking right and you get vitals, do the actual release, okay? And then on that release, I would actually try to get it, if the principal's there, try to get the signature from the principal on something like that. If it's just a no treat, no transport, it's requiring signature, don't worry, just get unable to obtain, and then I can bundle that together and take it to Sarah. Does that make sense?
So you have 30 reports on one report, right?
On one
30
number.
reports under one incident.
So
Yeah, but-
how would I go and, let's just hypothetically say that we won't use 30, we'll just use 3 or 4, whatever you want to say. We just go to a car accident, there's 4 people, we sign them off. It was super simple, boom, boom, boom. But now another call comes in, because that's what happens usually, and we jump that call and go. How are we gonna go and, do we open up that one report? And is there like a way where we're gonna be able to find those 4 people under that one report?
No.
So they come up
They'll
as
fit on your,
new,
CAD.
so like when you click on create a new UPCR for that report, they'll all populate, so you'll still have like
So there'll be
everything
4
that
that
you-
say 1938 Ridge?
Yeah,
everything that
okay.
you haven't submitted will still be able to.
So, but on that front page, if you will, it'll say 4 things of 1938 Ridge.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
there'll be 30 things for that one bus thing.
Yeah,
Okay. So I wanted to,
it makes a new line item every time you edit.
all right. I'm
Yep.
good.
And I would just ask by the end of each one of your shifts, make sure your dashboard is cleared, make sure everything is set. Give it one quick look over before you leave, so someone's not finishing up your stuff. That's all I have. If anyone has anything